Hey everybody, welcome back to Jordan Lee Tarot. So today I wanted to actually show you how I clear and cleanse my decks. So I have my trusty Palo Santo here. This is a holy wood from Peru, and they wait until the tree is actually fully dead. So they do not harvest while the tree is still alive. In doing so, it honors the full lifespan of the tree, and it is great for clearing and cleansing decks for the purpose of tarot. It's also really good to clear your crystals. Some people like to use moon water, some people like to use sage. I prefer to use the fire and the Palo Santo wood. There's a really sweet, beautiful aroma, and it's just always been my favorite way to clear and cleanse. If I do a clearing or cleansing in someone's space, I typically use Palo Santo. So it's just always been my favorite. And just allowing the smoke to curl around the cards and just saying a little blessing for the clearing and cleansing of that energy. Now, again, I don't have to do that between every single reading, but after time, the energy from these readings kind of, I don't want to say stick to the cards, but a little bit. And so it's good to always clear that energy out in a very, I don't want to say visceral way, but sort of a very visceral way of like the actual burning away of the old energy. And I just have always liked the physicality of fire. I've always been attracted to homes that have some sort of heat source that is fire based, that it's a pellet stove, a wood stove, propane stove, something that just allows for a burning of the fire within the home. And I feel like it's a great way to just keep the energy of your space clear with the fire. So that's just my preference. Some people do like to use sage. There's a lot of different variations of sage. And if I'm being honest, it can be a little overwhelming. So Palo Santo is great for beginners if they want to clear and cleanse energy of their space, their room, their divination tools, whatever it is. So highly recommend checking out Palo Santo. This is not a sponsored message. All right, so the decks for today. The Etheric Visions Tarot, the Sacred Destiny Oracle, and the Places Oracle. I call this the Places and Spaces deck. All right, let's see what we have in the cards for today. It is almost my bedtime. I go to bed not early, but early enough that I can wake up early in the mornings, and I like to get the most out of my day that way. So I'm typically in bed by 9 o'clock, just 9:30, just so that I can get that fresh start to the day. And I have on my healing, relaxing music. I'm just in the zone and just very excited to end my day with a relaxing reading for everybody and just tap into source and see what comes out. So tapping in. So grateful to be here with all of you as we enter into this year of the Chinese zodiac, which is the current year of the fire horse. I did a little research. So this is the beginning of that Chinese Lunar New Year. And if you look at the year that you are born, like I'm the year of the tiger, 1986. I've just dated myself. You can do the math. I'm 39. You start to understand what this year will hold for you specifically, because again, just like in Vedic astrology and things like that, you start to realize it's all dependent on your chart. But this year is definitely wonderful forward momentum, but it'll look a little different for each year. So again, I highly encourage you to look that up and see what the year of the fire horse could bring for you. So, all right, Spirit, what do we need to hear for today's message? The rainforest, okay. Tropical ecosystem, life thrives. And two more. Tranquility awaits, reflective shores, Savor each bite. Whoa. Okay. That's beautiful. So this card in particular, it's a beautiful cafe where the light's streaming in. But this reminds me of like a luxury dining car. One of my dreams has always been to do a really nice train travel trip. Say that 5 times fast. But train is just an underrated way to get around. And there's really fancy, expensive ones on the Orient Express where you actually can book trips there. But there's many different options as well that are they have varying levels of you know coziness, fanciness, whatever you want. But I definitely think it would be cool to travel, by luxury train, at least for a day and a night at some point in my life, just to get that experience. And this just reminds me of the inside of a really luxurious train car for some reason. So what I'm getting here is that like there's a peace and a tranquility coming. Life can actually thrive. So this really steps into thriving, not surviving energy. I see a lot of color. I see a lot of vividness in the imagery here. There's a beautiful dance between the darks and the lights. The contrast on a lot of these are stunning. And I think that that's really powerful energy to step into. So I'm hearing vivid, colorful, thick, rich, stepping into a time where things feel sweeter. I don't know if you've ever been sick and you have meals that try to nourish and replenish your energy when you're sick, and things just don't taste as good though. So you're trying to eat this healthy soup, might be very yummy, but you can't really taste it. It just tastes blah, right? Because your taste buds are off. And you get better and you have that first meal after you feel really good and things taste richer. you know Maybe colors do look more vivid depending on how sick you were. Things just feel more decadent. That's the word, decadent. I'm hearing and seeing in my mind this idea of decadence, rich meals with good flavor. This could even mean that you're learning how to cook in this way. I have started to cook more meals from scratch. So I'm trying to make more things from scratch, but finding ways to add richness to things. If you've ever saved your vegetable scraps to make veggie broth, things like that, you add tomato paste to add that really rich flavor. And anyone who knows you need that tomato paste in there. It makes a huge difference with the flavor of the soup. Okay. So I'm talking about it through the world of taste, but this is like life in general. Okay. So this idea of savoring and tasting the decadence of life itself. So let's tap in with the tarot and get a little bit more from this reading. Okay. Hierophant. The Three of Wands. The Knight of Wands. This feels like feel it, get your energy right, set your intention, visualize it, see it for yourself, and then go make it happen. That's what I'm seeing here. So it's kind of like done in 3 stages. You need to get your energetics correct. You need to check your intention of why you want to sense and feel this decadence of life, right? Maybe it's, stepping into that acceptance of I want more money. Why do I want more money? And you have to visualize that for yourself after you get your intention correct. Not even correct, just know your intention and then start to go for it and charge forward. And this is going to allow for more decadent life experiences. Okay. All right. So we're coming into a time of action after being alone in a way that is, excuse me, that is contemplative, that is, the hermit is definitely in that stage of time where you're seeing, what do I want? What do I actually want? What do I want to manifest? What do I want my life to be? How do I want to feel about my future? Because again, sometimes you can get wrapped up in feeling really tied down by limitations in your life, but you can actually start to visualize something different. And you say to yourself, how do I want to feel? Well, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel this limitation so hard. I want to go inside and I want to check my intention, and then I want to go forward and I want to make shit happen for myself. Whoop. Okay. The Lovers. I do not think this is necessarily a love reading. Let me clarify the Lovers card. Whoa. That jumped on out. All right. So this talks about indecision. Indecision about something that feels like it's going to change your life. The Lovers card talks about a big decision, a huge decision. So you know that there's an importance here. You know that you can't play around with this decision. This is a big deal. Again, this could be talking about love, but I'm sensing that it fits a lot of different parameters here. Maybe this is, wanting to feel that luxurious life with your partner or with a partner that you have yet to meet, or with someone that you did meet and that you're dating currently. Two of Swords clarified. Let's dig into this further. Okay. So I think this Two of Swords is talking about cutting yourself off, literally, right? And you got to pick one. You got to pick one, and you're a little nervous about it, especially because you're holding that blade with your hand. It could cut you if it's not the right sword that you grab. So when you're in this state of indecision, you're kind of paused like this. You're not making a decision, but you know that you have to. So that's definitely supported by the Lovers card. This feels like a weighted decision, and that's why you're being so cautious about it. So no one could blame you, right? You have to do that time of being alone to check in with yourself. What do I really, truly want? Okay. Bloop. And again, I feel like there's waffling. There's waffling here. The Moon card. I don't know. My indecision is palatable. My intuition says this. My mind says this. I'm just not sure. I don't know. And again, the beginning of this card is talking about take that introspection time, but then take those action steps. The wands are like, do the things in the world to make the things happen, right? Oh, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Oh, yeah, you're trying to avoid this. You're trying to avoid the Three of Swords. You're trying to avoid this burnout. The Four of Swords is definitely a burnout card. It feels like a crash out after this. This is like, oh my gosh, heartbreak, devastation. That's the word. This is devastation. And then this is like exhaustion after the devastation, where you're just like in bed and you need to replenish your energy. You're trying to avoid that because you have this big decision to make and you're kind of freaking out about it. So let me tap into the this extra oracle deck, the Sacred Destiny deck. That's what I was trying to grab the words out of the ethers. Community. So this feels like your guides or trusted people in this realm, in this world, that might help you with this really, really big decision that you have to make. Definitely feels like a should I stay or should I go? But this isn't just about a relationship or a job. This is about you. Should I stay the same or should I grow? Should I stay or should I grow now? Okay, so the difference, it's not a should I stay with this person or leave this person. The deeper question, that might be like an external thing happening, but the deeper question is, should I stay where I'm at or should I grow? So, look at this butterfly. Look at this community card. There's a bunch of butterflies. I think this is a spiritual awakening, and you're being called into this spiritual awakening by your guides, by other people who have gone through a spiritual awakening, a community of people that know what you're going through, which is really, really hard stuff. Let's be very real. And I think there's just waffling going on. Do I step onto this path of transformation, of change, of wildly different ways of thinking and being in the world? I don't know. I'm scared. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I get it. I do want to put this out there. If anyone is really, really struggling with a spiritual awakening, with the things that are happening to them, please reach out. My email is in the About This Creator section. And it's just my main work email, hello@jordanlee.com. I want to encourage any of you to reach out that are struggling or that have a specific question. I'm happy to do a private reading. I do have that information listed in the description box. Excuse me. And I say that because sometimes these readings are a great base, but sometimes you need a little bit more. So I am definitely here for any one of you. If you just have a question and you want to ask about my experience as I've gone through multiple awakenings, multiple layers of awakenings, please feel free to reach out and ask a question. It does not have to be tarot related. Sometimes it's just nice to know that there's a community of people that have gone through what you've gone through. There's always people that have gone out ahead of you, that are further ahead than you. And there are always people that are further behind you. Understand that. We're all on this giant continuum, and it's definitely not a competition, and it's definitely not a speed race. It's just wherever you're at is where you're at. It doesn't really matter. It's just an honoring of where you are. Oh, wow. Freedom, power. So there is a freedom here in embracing your own personal power that maybe you haven't allowed yourself to do up until now. With this power that you are embracing within yourself comes a great big pile of responsibility. It's sort of like when I started my own business. I worked for other people, then I finally started my business, and it was overwhelming. I started my business, but then I actually went full time with it, and that jump meant that I had more freedom. I didn't have to be at a certain place at a certain time. I was running my own schedule. That freedom gave me so much power to control my day, my life, and it was overwhelming. It was almost like, well, what do I do with all this time? It took me probably 6 months to a year to really dial in, let's just say, a schedule that worked for my way of being. And my way of being was to get up early in the morning and kind of do the laundry, do the dishes, do all of that kind of stuff, and be in my office by like 10, 11 o'clock, and then work till, 6, 7, whatever I needed to do. And it just really helped me hone in on what I wanted to do or how I wanted to do it. And then I could stop working at 6, 7, 8, 5, whatever I wanted, depending on the day. And then the laundry was done and the dishes were done and the meal was prepped for dinner ahead of time. Doing things that way just made sense for my life. And I still do things in a similar fashion years later. It took me time to harness that freedom that I had, but it really allowed me to take power and control over my life and my day. And now I do things in the order in which makes sense for me, which means I'm more efficient with my time. That took a long time to get to. Okay, but that's what I'm talking about. What is your version of all of this freedom? Of being given your power back or taking it back, and then you go, oh shit, now what? Like, I don't know. There's a bit of that too that can happen with this process. So let's pull 2 more cards here. Nice. Fulfillment, a juicy, ripe peach. I love peach season. It's right after my birthday. I love that feeling of just like peeling the skin off of the peach, especially when it's like a freestone peach. So good. So, so good. All right. Pleasure. I love this so, so much. So the power card was calling out to me as well as this pleasure card. I think you're really going to enjoy what this sense of freedom and power is going to give you. I really do. And again, this community of people, of fellow butterflies who've gone through their transformations at varying levels and times, they are available for you. Maybe you already know of a group of people that you haven't really tapped into yet. You kind of know about them in your periphery, but it's time to really come into that spiritual awakening. You might need those people. You might really need to lean into those kind of sidelined um, people that you've met already, but you haven't pulled into your inner circle. You might need to pull them into your inner circle and be like, this is what's been happening. I'm freaking out. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, that's normal. Great, let's talk about it. Let's help get you through this. And I just think that you're coming into this rich time in your life. Again, that could mean money, but I think this is a richness of life. Again, could mean luxury too. Nothing wrong with a little luxury, but just see how luxurious, luscious, rich this is. This could talk about inner landscape too. And when you really start to detach from these larger systems like the medical system, the justice system, the education system, when you start to pull out of those things and really come into that awareness that you're in control of your own life and you don't need these systems as much as you think. Yes, still go to the doctor when you need to or the hospital when you need to. Yes, of course, still go to college if you feel called. But there's this deeper sense of authority that's being born within you. And that's what this reading has been about. So I really, really hope that you take these messages, use them to empower you, not overwhelm, but empower you. So until next time, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope you continue to have a prosperous, thriving year of the fire horse.